Hey everybody, how's it going out there? Today I have a story, kind of, real life, true story, in every sense of the word. Stories about my brother, my older brother. Um, I'm a stress eater, and that's just how it is. I can analyze it and I can break it down, but that's when I feel the biggest urge to eat. So, when stress is in my life, that's when I have to fight it the hardest. And today, I have I don't know, mixed stress. I don't know if it's stressful so much or not. I have a lot going on at work, so I'm stressed with that. But today, well, let me give you a little background story first about my brother. Um, Many years ago, about 12 years ago, uh, my mother passed away. And it was very hard on all of us. And I think it was especially hard on him for a couple reasons. He'd always been kind of a closet alcoholic, um, but at the time he was kind of. Um, I don't know if I want to say that he was in with a bad influence or it just developed into that. But he was doing some drugs, um, and it caused him. In fact, this was actually on Thanksgiving Day, the same year my mother passed away. Literally, my mother passed away in September. November, Thanksgiving Day, he robbed my house while I wasn't there. So, um, I kind of looked the other way. I kind of thought, well, he's my brother, and I love him. I mean, he's going through some rough times, so we'll try to give him support, try to get him to turn his life around, whatever. But then he ended up assaulting people, trying to rob them for drugs. Well, money for drugs, I should say. And so he went to prison. Um, for many years, I didn't have anything to do with him. I was very angry with him, very bitter. Um, not not because not because he stole my things. Things can be replaced. Things are not that important. Um, but he stole something from me that couldn't really be replaced. He stole from me the brother that I'll always know, and that I'll always hope might someday that might be in there somewhere. And so after a while, I buried the hatchet and thought, well, I got a captive audience. I need to talk to him. So I talked to him for a while. I mean, he's in prison. He's not going anywhere. He's more than eager to correspond, read, write letters, whatever. So at the time, he was the only other family that would talk to him was our older sister, and so she was helping him out, and so I got in contact with him, and we kind of he seemed, I guess, repentant, and he seemed like he wanted to do better and do something with his life that was meaningful outside of prison. So after he served 8 years of his sentence, which, I mean, I don't even know everything he went down for, but it was a lot longer than that. Um, they actually let him go on parole, and so I was very happy. Um, I was supporting him. I was helping him get it back on his feet, and I was helping him, you know, just to help him. I wasn't expecting anything back. I didn't want anything back. I was just trying to, I guess maybe it was selfish. I was trying to fix what I'd lost. Maybe try to get a shadow of it back. Um, but then I learned that he would be, you know, taking money and telling me, "Oh, I couldn't do this or I didn't do that or I didn't." He wasn't trying to get support. He wasn't trying to get help. He wasn't trying to get a job. He was, I was just basically funding everything, and then and I was mad at that. I was very mad at that. But then I found out, I still continued to support him. But then I found out a little bit later that he finally did go do some stuff. But what he did was he went and got, food stamps and, uh, you know, uh, emergency aid and stuff like that, which you can get. It's it is a tool to use if you have no job and you want to get on your feet or something like that. Um, but I found out he was doing that, and he'd gotten a job, and so he was doing that stuff and earning a wage, and then still telling me that he wasn't doing anything. God, man, they didn't hire me. I didn't hire him. And he was actually working a job. He was living with my sister, my older sister I mentioned earlier. He was living with her rent free. He was working a full time job in a warehouse, and on top of that, he was also somehow still getting food stamps and uh, some kind of monetary state aid for they have for certain people. I don't know what he was doing. And then he was begging me for bus fare. And oh man, I really need a couple $100 this week for this or that or this or that. And I found that I was even angrier than the first time. The first time I was like, I was upset and I felt hurt, that he was doing this and lying to me. But then the second time, I just felt all out and out betrayed. Betrayed. And then he calls me on his cell phone, which he said that he didn't have a cell phone, and wanted to know why I was so mad at him. He what really bothered me shortly after that was, I told him, I was like, I'm not helping you anymore. You're throwing it in my face. You don't need my help. You got a job, you know. And he was upset. He was angry with me for not continuing to give him money. He says I owed him. I I I don't understand how I owe him. I didn't. He robbed my house and he did horrible things to our family, and I owe him. Anyways, he spiraled into a lot of drug use, and I told him, I was like, "You're gonna die, and I'm not gonna have any part in contributing to your death. I'm not gonna give you any money. I'm not gonna do anything. It's like you need to get help, but I'm not gonna watch you die." And he somehow, for the longest time, I doubt if he was ever off of drugs the whole time. I don't know what the judicial system, for parolees, I don't know how lax that system could possibly be to let somebody like that just fly by. He was involved in two accidents where he was at fault, completely totaling his vehicle while under the influence of drugs and alcohol. After prison, while on parole, he didn't go to jail. Thankfully, one time he hit a post, and the other time he flipped his car into a ditch because he was so high. And I always worried that, you know what's funny? I didn't worry that he would die. I worried that he would kill someone else. That he would get in a car, stoned, and just plow into a family or something. Not even thinking, not even caring. But um, I got word today that he was involved in a third accident. And apparently he had lost his job drinking on the job, so he was really high and decided at 3 a.m. in the morning he wanted to go out and buy some crack. And he was involved in a big accident. Um, I mean, I don't know anything really solidly about it now, but they say he is going to go back to prison. And I find myself incredibly thankful. Incredibly thankful. It's going to be his only chance of survival. And it's not a wide chance either. It's very small. Because you got to want to stop that stuff. And if he doesn't want to, but at least he's not going to cause anybody to die in an accident. He's not that. That was probably one of my biggest fears in doing nothing. Because I mean, I can't do anything. You can't force someone to quit drugs. You can't force someone to straighten up their life. They just got to do it. They got to want to do it, or else it's not going to work. And I know he didn't want it. He didn't want it. He doesn't care anymore. He does what he has to do to get high. You know, he'll work a regular job, whatever. Functioning alcoholic, functioning drug addict. But he'll do what he has to do to get high. That's my stress. I stress over that. But now I don't have to stress that I'm going to get a call that he killed somebody. I don't have to stress that, you know, he was involved in an accident and plowed into a school bus or something. I know that he's not going to get help in prison. If anything, drugs are easier to get in prison. But maybe, maybe, maybe he'll be safer and not kill himself somehow with an overdose or something. I don't know. Maybe even a slim chance, once again, maybe, for me to get back my brother. But I think that brother really is dead. So, I'm sorry to end it on a low note. It's, it's a tough time. But I hope you all out there had a good day today. And I hope tomorrow's even better. Until then, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.